Good morning, traders. This is Joanne with Succeed in Forex. Welcome to our Forex market news broadcast for Tuesday, March the 25th, 2008. The headlines out of Switzerland this morning said dollar rose on rising risk appetite after JP Morgan increased offer on Bear Stearns. The dollar rose against a basket of currencies on Monday after a surprise jump in the U.S. existing home sales. It gave optimism over the economic outlook. The stock exchange was boosted by risk appetite as JP Morgan proposed a five-fold increase offer for Bear Stearns. The sales of existing U.S. homes rose in February for the first time since July. Yesterday, the dollar-yen raced to a session peak of 190, well off the 13-year low of 95.74 from the 17th of March. It was last trading at around 175. The euro-yen surged to 155.53. The dollar's rise against the Japanese currency was largely driven by news that JP Morgan had upped its offer for Bear Stearns to $10 per share from $2. This boosted U.S. equities and investors' appetite for riskier trades. At the same time, the New York Federal Reserve said it would provide $29 billion in term financing to facilitate JP Morgan's acquisition of Bear Stearns and will form a privately managed company to oversee assets pledged as collateral. But traders are saying that there is still some concern that the deal might not close and introduced some level of uncertainty yet again in the market. Those worries helped the euro to recoup some losses against the dollar. The euro-dollar was flat at 154.37 after slipping to a session trough of 153.41 and still is off a record high of 159.04 touched last week. Traders are saying that there is also an interest to buy the euro single currency below 154.00, limiting its losses. It was an illiquid market as most financial markets were closed for the Easter holidays on Monday, but they are reopened today. The dollar Swissy fell to 101.87, retracing from an intraday high of 102.50. During the Asian session, the U.S. dollar's euphoria declined. The dollar was weaker in the Asian session as traders returned from the Easter holiday to question the greenback's euphoria of last week. The euro-dollar rose to 155.73 and the dollar-yen fell to 100.08. The dollar's inability to rally, especially given the positive existing home sales, which rebounded yesterday by 2.9% in February, is showing some near-term U.S. dollar weakness. Signs of a global slowdown should offer some support to the dollar, particularly as markets have priced in a probability that other central banks might ease their rates in the short term. However, we still see further economic weakness and the possibility of real interest rates going negative in the U.S., which would be a heavy burden for the dollar to bear. In short term, the dollar would be vulnerable to any poor data or news. While many of the strategists are calling for the dollar's strength, others are expecting the market to challenge one more time the euro-dollar at the level of 158 to 160 before the trend shifts to a prolonged move downwards. On Friday, the acting BOJ Governor, Shirakawa, said that the handling of the recent global financial markets turmoil was his top priority. He also mentioned that he had no predetermined monetary policy. The markets are currently pricing in a 15 basis point cut for the BOJ over the next 12 months. There could be more pricing in of rate cuts should officials agree on a coordinated response at the G7 gathering on April 12th and 13th. The European markets were subdued due to the lack of data as market participants waited for the U.S. and Canadian releases. As expected, there was a rebound in the Canadian retail sales, which should keep the loonie in positive territory. Although the overall feeling is that the softer commodity prices and exposure to the U.S. economy will keep the currency on the defensive. The market was definitely watching for the U.S. consumer confidence, which came in lower than expected at 64.5. Speculation and positioning suggested that the market was expecting a low figure. That concludes our news broadcast for today. We hope you're finding it beneficial in your trading. Before we sign off, we would like to invite you to visit our website at www.succeedinforex.com. There you'll find information about our Traders Training Center, where our motto is Traders Helping Traders Succeed in Forex. There's also a link to our Yahoo forum, which is also called Succeed in Forex. We hope you'll visit us there soon. Thank you for taking the time to view our Forex Market News broadcast. Have a great day of trading, and happy pipping.